Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of the vlog series. Today I'm going to talk to you about roles in medicine in the UK and what to expect from those. Okay, so the first thing to note about jobs in medicine in the UK is that everything is broken down into subspecialties. So to begin with, you've got general and then acute medicine, and then beyond that you've got all of the subspecialist areas which are broken down in quite granular detail into cardiology and respiratory and diabetes and endocrinology and stroke and gastroenterology and so on and so forth. There's lots and lots of strands of medicine, but they are all very well divided up and very specialised in the UK. So, one of the first things to consider when you're thinking about a role in a medicine subspeciality in the UK, and this is something that we commonly get asked about, is whether you should go straight into a specialist role or whether you should start out in a general or acute role to give yourself a wider experience to begin with. I think the first thing to note here is that doctors in the UK will have come through the core training system. So they'll have had to do at least 2 years of work in general and rotating around the other areas of medicine. If you've started out in your home country and haven't had that breadth of experience, you've just started out straight in your subspeciality, then you may want to consider that you'd be perhaps at a slight disadvantage when coming into our healthcare system. The second thing to note is that we're aware that lots of international healthcare systems aren't perhaps as subspecialist focused as the UK. And therefore the roles in the specialist fields can be much more senior in comparison to those in other healthcare systems. So important to consider where you might fit, and often, not in all cases, but often it is better to start out in a more general medicine or acute medicine position before you then a few months later or a year into your roles in the UK progress into a specialist field. Okay, so many of the medicine roles that are available in the UK are in what's called acute medicine, which is almost a sub-strand of emergency medicine or urgent care. And it's not something that there's often a comparable unit to in other healthcare systems. So it's well worth considering that if you're looking at a role in acute medicine, then you may want to be coming from a background where you've done a high frequency of on-call, you see lots and lots of inpatients on a daily basis, you've worked in a busy hospital setting, and that's not to say that you wouldn't be equipped for it if you hadn't come from that background, but you might want to consider going into perhaps a smaller unit, a smaller hospital to begin with, in order to build yourself up to one of the bigger, busier units, because you may find yourself in a position where you're expected to do out-of-hours on-call work in a really busy unit, seeing lots and lots of inpatients that you're perhaps not used to in your own system. So important to be safe and have good expectations about what's going to work for you when you move here. Okay, so hopefully that's been of some use in telling you a bit more about roles in medicine and the subspecialist medicine areas in the UK. If you've got specific questions or you want to share your CV with us, and if you've completed MRCP, then please do get in touch. As always, we'll put the contact details up at the end of the video.